Doctor, are you ready, Doctor?
Ready.
Okay. So, group T16, okay, you may start now.
T16.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. We will proceed. Uh, Good morning to Dr. Nick Alif and Dr. Mohanad as a panel of room 16. Today we will present of our study, which is the title of our study is the factors that influence tourist intention to use Grab car in Malaysia. Okay. First, I will introduce myself and my group members. I am Sharon Lesana Anak Francis. Next candidate is Muhammad Kala. Third is Sharifah Fatimah, and the last one is Anin Nuha.
Okay, for the abstract, the purpose of this study is to examine the factors that influence intention to use Grab. The study will use quantitative research, which is through conducting a questionnaire using Google Form for data collection. This research is a form of non-empirical because the research no need to conduct research in the field of the study. Previous research indicates that Grab is the popular transportation among tourists because provide a lot of service in one app and very affordable price. Grab transportation popularity is growing by the day and visitors and local alike taking notice. Grabs are becoming more useful because it can make it easier for people to move around with easily. Okay, the next one is for introduction. The history of e-hailing started in 2012 with Grab, then followed by My Taxi and others e-hailing services. GrabCar began as third-party cab e-hailing mobile app in Malaysia in 2012. The study aims to look at the factors that influence the intention of tourists to use Grab in Malaysia. Grab to be a leading player in the Malaysian e-hailing market, people are looking for cheaper alternative. Next, I will pass to the next presenter.
The part of the problem statement. The problem statement that outcome from the study is first is misconduct and misbehavior. Second one is private charging. Third is sexual harassment, and the fourth one is accident during the journey. To avoid this problem statement, e-hailing Grab company require people that want to register a Grab driver, they should need to meet a term of condition, which is they should fulfill the condition that uh, provided by the company. Next slide. There are three research objectives of this study, which is to identify the relationship between safety, usefulness, and price of tourist attention to use Grab.
Okay, for the significance of this study, the significance of this study will benefit the community because e-hailing play an important role in online transportation technology to tourists in Malaysia today. The highest demand for tourists coming to our country justified their need to find transportation such as Grab to make it easier for them to go somewhere when choosing transportation to travel. Next, this study is important because can make the reader manage budget for choosing transportation to travel in Malaysia. Besides, this study is to understand consumer preference toward using e-hailing service that can give benefit to other tourists. In addition, this study will also find the level of safety and protection of passenger using e-hailing services. The result of this study are also expected to understand the behavior of consumer in making decision in others to improve service to tourists who come to Malaysia. Okay, I will pass to the next presenter.
The next is about a literature review of the study. First, definition of e-hailing. E-hailing of Grab is one of the categories ride-sharing that use a platform booking through digital, which is can connect driver and passenger just using a mobile application. Next is a useful application in facilities. Grab provide a useful and useful application and facilities to tourists, which is they can access all location and destination so that they can find location and destination easily in the Grab's apps. And the third one is safety of passenger using the Grab service. Safety is very important because it can make tourists feel comfortable use the Grab car. And the last one is cheap and affordable price. The offer of cheap and affordable price by Grab company is very worth for money. Next slide.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. The hypotheses in the study are to find out whether there are any correlation or relationship between dependent variable and independent variable. First hypothesis is there is a significant relationship between the factor of tourist satisfaction on the price of Grab service. Second, there is a significant relationship between the level of safety of passenger, and there is a significant relationship between the type of Grab service and the net presenter.
Okay, for the methodology, the first one is research design. The study used quantitative research, and the sample chosen in this study consists to domestic tourists and also open to public people who respond to be respondent the questionnaire about Grab transportation. And the next one is sample size. The total number of people who took part of this study was 384. And the next one is research instrument. The research using a questionnaire. Questionnaire used to gather, measure, and evaluate the data. And the next one is data analysis. This research use quantitative data, which is by using questionnaire through Google Form. By choosing a non-probability sampling in the study, will be measured with correlation because it can use to test strength of dependent variable and independent variable of the research objective. And last one is data collection. For data collection, is an online questionnaire circulated through social media platform. The questionnaire will most likely be sent out in 2022. Okay, I will pass it to the next presenter.
Thank you, Kak Laf. Okay, for the next is result and discussion. The delivery of a survey questionnaire via a Google form filled out by the respondent is part of this data analysis. The study's findings are organized in a logical order to satisfy the study's aim and objective as well as the research question. A simple SPSS 19 application is used to filter, edit, and enter quantitative data, encode and categorize it, and generate descriptive statistics and inferential findings from the data. Yearly studies, finding, and related literature are also openly discussed, if applicable, to highlight the parallels and contrast between the study and previous studies and literature.
About the demographic analysis of frequency, which is our respondent majority is female, which is 231. That is in age of 18 until 24 years old. The rest of majority is Malay, and the occupation is employed, which is 185. For the marital status, which is a single and the income below 1,000 for our demographic analysis, majority for analysis demographic.
Okay. Next is a result descriptive analysis. Overall, mostly range for this questionnaire of price factor is acceptable and suitable because of the range of mean is in 4 of above. Next, second. Second, mostly range for this question of safety factor also is acceptable and suitable. Next. Okay, that was show the mean and ranking for the item used to measure the usefulness factor. The result mostly range for this questionnaire of usefulness factor is also acceptable and suitable because of the range of mean is in so 4 of above. Okay, next. Okay, the result reliability analysis. To conclude, overall, the variable that carried out for this study were very good and acceptable. Therefore, the data was considered suitable for the further analysis. Okay, I will pass to the next presenter.
Okay, thank you, Sharifah. So for the result inferential, as we know, one of the most important analysis that measure the strength of the relationship between independent variables and dependent variables is the Pearson correlation coefficient analysis. The objective of the study was to determine whether there is a connection between the independent variables price, safety and usefulness, and dependent variable, the tourist intention to use Grab, by determining whether there is a correlation between the three. The table shows that there is a correlation between price and tourist intention to use Grab. The correlation coefficient of 0.226 suggested moderate positive correlation. And there is a significant relationship between price and tourist intention to use Grab car. And next one, this table shows the correlation between safety and tourist intention to use Grab. The correlation coefficient of 0.239 suggested a moderate positive correlation relationship. So there is also significant the relationship between safety and tourist intention to use Grab. And the last one is the correlation between usefulness and tourist intention to use Grab car. The correlation coefficient of 0.260 suggested a moderate positive correlation relationship. So this is also significant relationship between usefulness and tourist intention to use Grab.
After we put in the data and analyze the data, the result of correlation analysis found that the independent variable of price, safety, and usefulness is weak positive correlation at the scale of the strength of the correlation.
Okay, for the next slide is limitations. Since COVID-19, we utilize Google Form to collect data and it takes a long time. The next one is there are no previous studies in the field. The third one is difficulty in identifying the scope of previous work in the topic. And the last one is limited scope of discussion. I will pass to the next presenter.
The recent recommendation is research can expand the respondent of the study to international tourists for better understanding from international tourist perspectives in using in-hailing service. And then in the future research to consider other factors and variables in analyzing the intention to use in-hailing service. That's finally, in conclusion, the finding of this study shows the factor that influence tourists' intention to use credit card in Malaysia. The influential factor are the relationship between the price, safety, and usefulness factor and the relationship between tourists' intention to use credit card. Other than that, as mentioned in the chapter 3, a total of 5 section questionnaire will distribute to 385 responded among domestic tourists and public people in Malaysia. Okay, thank you. That's all from our group. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you so much. Okay, I have only one question. Bukan question, sorry. I have one suggestion. Can you go to your framework?
This one, Doctor?
Framework. Model of the study.
The conceptual framework.
This one.
Okay. Okay, if you can see in your framework, basically, if you develop your framework, Okay, you don't need to put the number here, 1, 2, 3, because it will show different thing.
Oh,
Okay, and then maybe you can add your hypothesis H1, H2, and H3 here in your framework. Okay, that's all for my suggestion.
So that means dekat price tu kita tambah H1, H2, H3.
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you, Doctor.
Just H, just letter H. H1, H2, H3.
Yes.
In the arrow.
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Mahanat, you have any comment or suggestion?
Yeah, okay. First, can you go to abstract?
Which one?
Abstract.
Abstract.
Abstract, you write here. The wake, research, the popular transport among preferred service and you told here non-practical, whereas I just non-empirical study. How you write here non-empirical study? Supposed to be every study we have empirical contribution, practical contribution, and theoretical contribution. And when we told non-empirical, that's mean we talk about systematic study, like we just use introduction and literature review, research method without data collection and data analysis and conclusion and recommendation. This one we consider non-empirical. But you study empirical and theoretical, and empirical and practical also. Empirical too, both. Okay, one more thing. You talk about the graph for local. If you lucky, if the study talk about international, you talk about domestic. If you talk about international visitor or international traveler, I will ask you to put not a Grab company. I will ask you to put travel agency. The study is supposed to be travel agency, but you're lucky you put it as domestic, because for a travel agency, after COVID-19 pandemic, we have big loss in the tourism industry, and international travel agency is supposed to become online before we use offline method, like we go to the hotel, something like that. Okay, but now if we want to survive for next market, we supposed to use IT, and we make the attention for the tourist international tour to come and use the travel agency. But for local, okay, if we use a Grab and this study for a Grab, okay. Also, you talk about the price, and also okay, for the sample size, your total sample.
This one?
Your total sample methodology slide.
Which one?
Methodology slide. The methodology slide. Go down.
Down. Okay.
Down more. No. Wait.
Methodology.
Methodology. Yeah.
Methodology, chapter 3.
Yeah. Okay. This one. Yes. Okay. You write the sample size 384. But the thing, how many the total population, and where is the location? For example, in Kuala Lumpur, the people use Grab more than, for example, Kedah or Kelantan or Terengganu. That means supposed to be where is your location and what is the total population for your study. And also, just now you talk about the analysis part, the summarize of analysis. You go down. Sharon, you told you have, go down more. Okay, here. You told here we have a weak relationship. Yes. But actually, you go up in the correlation part. You have high correlation, high significant relationship. That's mean not weak. You have strong relationship, not weak relationship. And also you told we use SPSS 19 version 19. We have SPSS 20. We have SPSS 22. We have SPSS 26. Supposed to be you update your research.
For this we use SPSS 19.
Why you use SPSS 19? Okay, if you tell 19, you should know why the advantage to use 20 or 26 is better than you use 19. I know you use 19, but if I am a researcher, become like professional work, my research supposed to be I use the last version of analysis because I can do hierarchical regression, standard deviation, I use linear regression, can give me the easy of use for SPSS analysis in my data. But okay, for you guys, SPSS 19. But for example, in the future, they will ask you, and this one will be weak point in your research, why you don't use the last version of the analysis part you use, like the model you use. That's all. You done good job actually, guys. Very good. One thing, if you write international tour, it's mean you have wrong here in the research. But you write domestic traveler, okay, no problem. Very good job.
Usually data we are not choosing international because we are afraid we cannot get a respondent from international. So that's why we choose a domestic, or we just spread public people.
This one not reason. Don't say this one. Not reason. This one not reason for you to choose. You choose any data collection or any instrument in your study is supposed to be depends on your problem statement. What your problem statement say, then you can choose the respondent. But we cannot say because I cannot maybe make data collection. No, what is the problem statement show and the methodology show and literature review? They give me what I want to use, like international or local. Okay, not depends what I like, what I don't like. Maybe I can, maybe I cannot. This one not be like personal reason. No. Okay, guys, very good job. Thank you. Okay, doctor.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Okay, so you take note and make some adjustment based on the comment and suggestions. Okay.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, thank you, group 16. And then next, 2 minutes for group 20 to prepare.